In this video, the basic structure of a COBie file will be introduced. So we know that the contents of a COBie file contain information about maintenance, operations, and asset management. The formal specification for the information to be delivered is found in the COBie Model View definition. This is an ISO 16739 compliant specification for all of the objects in the IFC model needed to express COBie. That set of information can be thought of as the contents of a letter. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the envelope, the formats in which COBie is delivered. When someone talks about an IFC file, what they're generally talking about is a file of a format that looks like what's shown here. This is an ISO 10303 or STEP physical file model. Obviously, this is not a thing that a human is supposed to read. This is a file whose intention is direct system-to-system information exchange. But since a lot of the information that's contained in COBie needs to be viewed by people, maybe this is not the best format for all of the uses of this important facility, asset, operations, and maintenance data. The COBie spreadsheet was created as an equivalent presentation or equivalent envelope for exactly the same information that is found in a STEP file. So, the following slides will talk about the structure of COBie in the context of the spreadsheet format of the COBie data. Each of the yellow boxes in this diagram is a separate spreadsheet within the overall COBie workbook. Notice that the information is organized into information provided by design, information that's provided by construction, and information that's shared in common. Let's start by looking at the design information. The first set of design information that's important to COBie is the vertical and horizontal decomposition of the spaces within the building. So that's the facility, the floors, the spaces, and the zones. Here's the facility worksheet for the medical clinic project. You can download this project yourself by going to the Common BIM file page at the Building Smart Alliance website. Most COBie files will only have one building, so if you have multiple buildings on a given project, you'll have multiple COBie files. The one building per COBie file rule is not hard and fast, but it's generally recommended. We did this to make sure that the rest of the COBie data file would be as simple as possible. Within the building's envelope, there are floors where people live and work. On top of the building there's a roof, and there might also be equipment out on the site. So all of these different vertical levels of the building would be identified in the COBie floor workspace. Very complicated buildings like labs and hospitals that have very large interstitial spaces might also have floors to model those interstitial spaces, separate from the modeling of the space underneath. Really, it depends on the specifics of the project and how the designer wants to organize the work. Either way, it's just fine with COBie. The next spreadsheet is the COBie Space Worksheet, and the COBie Space Worksheet takes the rooms in the building and breaks them up into spaces which perform a specific function. The distinction between spaces and rooms is not all that important unless you have a very large room where several different kinds of things could take place. In that instance, you'll probably have the room number with a dash in A and a dash in B and a dash C, or some other kind of designation to separate the room into each of those individual spaces. People think about rooms in a building lots of different ways. The fire department might be interested in what fire protection zone a specific room is in, while the people who maintain the building might be interested in the HVAC designation of a particular room. Others, like the management of the tenants in the building, might only be interested in the occupancy information. Security personnel might be interested in the circulation requirements or circulation restrictions of a given set of spaces. All of these are defined in the COBie Zone worksheet. The next set of information provided by the designer describes the equipment that's installed in the building. An equipment is organized into the type of equipment, the specific components that are installed, and the organization of those components into systems. Next, we'll take a look at the worksheets describing this set of COBie information. The equipment and products that are installed in the building are defined by type. You can find this type information directly in the design schedules, and that's its actual origin. From the schedules, the design software exports that data and provides it in the COBie type worksheet. The COBie component worksheet contains every instance of those installed types. In many cases, design schedules will specifically identify each individual component by name. In some cases, components are identified by type only and noted where each one is located. In those instances, design software should automatically generate unique names for each of the individual components. Of course, not all of this information is provided by the designer. The builder will put in the serial number and the installation date and the warranty date based on the outline provided by the designer. Equipment is also organized into systems. The COBie system worksheet allows each individual component to be identified as to its function within the building. The contractor provides information about the specific manufacturer and model number and warranty information associated with the type worksheet, and also provides the installation date and serial numbers in the component worksheet. There are 3 worksheets, however, that the contractor is directly responsible for: the job, the resource, and the spare worksheets. The COBie spare worksheet allows the contractor to deliver the required information about replacement and on-site spare parts, consumables, and lubricants. The COBie resource worksheet identifies the materials, tools, and training necessary for preventive maintenance and other kinds of tasks to be accomplished. The COBie jobs worksheet allows the contractor to identify the preventive maintenance schedules, inspection requirements, startup and shutdown instructions, and any other kinds of requirements for regularly scheduled activities identified in the contract. The level of detail of each of these kinds of jobs can be defined in several different ways. One line item, for example, could represent a complete set of information found in a separate PDF document. As a middle ground, the description of a specific job could be included in the description of the jobs worksheet. Finally, if a job requires multiple operations, each of those individual operations could even be represented in the COBie jobs worksheet. Most projects will also include information in 3 of the common worksheets. Let's take a look at these now. The first is the contact worksheet, and the contact worksheet is really a catch-all kind of set of information. It contains information about the author of all of the data in COBie. Also, it contains the list of the manufacturers, warranty providers, and spare parts suppliers that you might reference other places. Putting them in the contact worksheet allows you to centralize the development of this information and reuse it throughout the rest of the COBie file. You can think about COBie as a smart outline that contains some minimal information about the specifics of the assets in the buildings. A lot of the information is still locked up in document files. Documents can be attached with the COBie file and referenced in the Documents worksheet. The COBie Attribute worksheet contains the attributes of any of the other worksheets in COBie. So, the properties of room data sheets, they're here in the Attribute worksheet. The properties of equipment schedules, they're also here. Anytime you have any properties and there's no other place to put them, they go in the COBie Attribute worksheet. I hope you found this video useful in understanding the structure of the spreadsheet version of COBie data. Thanks for joining me today.